And initially, that was my strategy from day one. I wanted to spread Bitcoin to as many people around the world as quickly as I possibly could, so they would become too big and too widespread to be shut down. So if people are using Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies to buy, their groceries and their diapers and things like that, how can governments shut it down? I knew from day one, once I put together the pieces in my mind and I understood that Bitcoin couldn't be shut down or stopped or controlled in any way and that there's a limited supply, I was so excited about this that I heard about it as I was eating breakfast at around 10 a.m. with the full intent of going into my office that day. Didn't make it. I stayed home and read about Bitcoin all day. I stayed up all night the next day until around 4 p.m. the next day, and I got too tired and I fell asleep for only about an hour and then woke up again and read all about Bitcoin.
With so much excitement behind Bitcoin, why have so many early adopters who lived, breathed, and tirelessly promoted Bitcoin to all expenses lost virtually all interest in the BTC blockchain?
So when I first got excited about Bitcoin, you could send and receive any amount of Bitcoin with anyone, anywhere in the world, and it was free most of the time. The times it wasn't free, you'd pay a fraction of a penny. And that led Bitcoin from being, worth almost nothing to this worldwide phenomenon that it is today. But much more recently, within the last year or two, a bunch of people that don't have any background in economics or in business seem to think that people will use Bitcoin solely as a store of value, even if it costs tens or hundreds or thousands of dollars to send Bitcoin from one person to another. And so they've intentionally undermined Bitcoin's usefulness in commerce.
I think the best word to describe what we now have in the Bitcoin world is clarity about the difference between these two different visions for Bitcoin. On the Bitcoin Cash side, we have this vision of creating economic freedom for everyone in the world. So, that's it's an important value. The value is economic freedom for everyone in the world. This isn't just for rich people or for banks, it's for everyone.
Bitcoin on August 1st split into two versions of Bitcoin. There's now Bitcoin SegWit and Bitcoin Cash. The Bitcoin Cash version of Bitcoin still has fees of less than a penny. You can send and receive them with anyone, anywhere in the world, just like that. Bitcoin SegWit, now the average fee is about $10. And so if you ask yourself, you have two versions of Bitcoin. One is slow, expensive, and unreliable, Bitcoin SegWit. And you have another version of Bitcoin that's super fast, reliable, and cheap. It's not a tough decision, and that's Bitcoin Cash. It's not a tough decision as to which one people are going to start using in commerce.
The trajectory Bitcoin is on right now is simply Bitcoin BTC Bitcoin is simply not the original thing, and so people are buying into it now, investing in some hypothetical future that is completely different than what the past has been. So it's like a giant ICO where people are just investing based on an idea, because this future idea of how Bitcoin is going to work just has nothing to do with the way it worked in the past. So it's now extremely speculative. And the best I can say about their view is that there's some combination of poorly chosen values as well as just completely wrong about reality.
It seems clear and simple. With the BTC chain consumed with corporate greed and increasingly high fees, why would anyone continue to support BTC, especially with Bitcoin Cash striving for economic freedom for all?
In the early days, maybe 10 people were using Bitcoin every 10 minutes, so you could do it for free and your transaction will be included. Now that Bitcoin is this worldwide phenomenon, more than 2,000 people are trying to use Bitcoin every 10 minutes. But you want your transaction to be included in the blockchain, so if more than 2,000 people are trying to use it every 10 minutes, they have to bid against each other, and the top bidders are the ones that are included in the next block on the blockchain. So now the fees are about $10 per transaction, because anybody that pays $9 has been outbid by the people that are paying $10. So Bitcoin Cash's solution to that is, well, just make the blocks bigger than 1 megabyte. It's 2017. 8 terabyte hard drive is about $100 at the moment, and they're only going to get cheaper year after year. Because right now, if people want to tip you in Bitcoin, it's going to cost them $5 or $10 in network fees. So if they wanted to give you $1 in Bitcoin, they're going to have to pay $6 or $11 to do that. And I don't think too many people are going to do that. I think it's a matter of time when people are faced between a fast, cheap, and reliable version of Bitcoin and a super slow and expensive and unreliable version of Bitcoin.
With Bitcoin Cash being fast, inexpensive, and reliable, clearly this is the Bitcoin following the original path laid out in Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper, not BTC.
The people working on Bitcoin Cash really do believe in Satoshi's original vision for Bitcoin. And what we're doing is we're doing things as best we can tell, align with that vision. Not just because it's Satoshi's vision, but because we agree with it. From my personal point of view, I think this is going to work. This is how we can deliver economic freedom to everyone in the world.
And Bitcoin Cash is growing fast, with an increasing support from wallets, exchanges. Due to the overwhelming increase in demand, the BCH chain is also heavily supported by businesses and growing services in commerce worldwide. The same cannot be said about the BTC chain.
Let's bring economic freedom to everyone in the world. That's what interests me. That's what interested me in Bitcoin originally, and that's what continues to interest me about Bitcoin Cash. People seem to share this value. We can see the potential. We can see it having already created freedom for so many people in the industry, and allowing this technology to scale to everyone in the world. Increasing price is only part of the story. Obviously, increasing price is very good if you hold the currency, but it's about so much more than that. Okay, it's really about having sound digital money that everybody can use. It's programmable money. And anyway, I won't sketch out the whole vision here, but we see that vision in Bitcoin Cash. We don't see that vision in Bitcoin Core.
With most early adopters holding true to the values and original vision of Bitcoin, it's easy to see how Bitcoin Cash is the true Bitcoin. It's just a matter of time before the world embraces the power of Bitcoin and its ability to provide global economic freedom for all.
So a couple hundred years ago, if I told you there was going to be a separation of church and state, you would think I'm a nutcase and a heretic, and I might get burnt at the stake for saying such a thing. Before the invention of Bitcoin, it would sound crazy to say that there's going to be a separation of money and state. But now that doesn't sound so crazy anymore, and it's starting to happen right before our eyes. And I think within another couple of decades, all currencies are going to be beyond the control of governments. People aren't going to be using dollars and euros and yen. They're going to be using Bitcoin Cash and Ethereum and Monero and things like that. And that's a wonderful, wonderful thing for all of humankind. And just like a separation of church and state was a great thing for all of humankind, a separation of money and state is as well.